I was introduced to an amazing woman in 1988 at 19 years old. She ran one of the first dog grooming schools in La Puente, California. She would not only teach me, but I would watch her teach many generations of men and women over the years how to bring professionalism to the pet grooming industry, how to develop the art of grooming, how to live with conviction, how to work hard while doing what you love. We began to talk about the good old days when dog grooming was still on the rise, where we didn't hear names like pet specialist or hygienist. Back then, we were behind the scenes, often in a little room, grooming and handling dirty and difficult dogs. But when Marcia Hill came on the scene, she brought something to the table that was before her time. When I look back at the archives, the pictures, the videos, I was amazed by the vision Marcia had. She was recording, she was capturing, she was documenting the beginning years where it all started. We laughed in one of our interviews as we talked about her being retro, and she couldn't deny being before her time. But I was never more surprised than when a group of men and women came from all over to respect and honor Marcia Hill for impacting their lives and giving them courage to live their dreams. There were tears, there was laughter, and there was a bond that I don't believe can be duplicated. Join me in my attempt to unravel the archives and share Marcia Hill's story. This is an important moment for you.
Yes, it is.
Can you tell me about your experience with Marcia Hill?
My experience with Marcia Hill has been one that has been very gratifying. She is a very thorough teacher. Well, I graduated with 650 hours, and I have to keep looking at this, 1996 of October. I immediately started into competition grooming. I wanted to advance myself as far as I could, as quick as I could, with my talent that she taught me. And here's my first competition grooming with Marcia. You want to hold it?
Oh, yeah. I
At
see
the
that.
bottom. That's
Oh,
my first one.
That's
and
awesome.
I had only been, I was still in school there.
Wow.
So I just moved up real fast.
Oh, she was so proud of you there. Look at that face. I think it's so amazing that we've got this talent that's been passed down to us, and now it's passed down another generation, because it almost feels to me like a dying art.
Yes. She's a beautiful groomer, probably better than I was.
Wow.
I just remember her telling me all the stories from school about, like, oh, you think this dog is bad? Like, you should have seen the one in school with, like, fleas and ticks. And but she was just always saying how influential Marcia was and how, you know, they really bonded. And she was always really hard on my mom, but it was because she saw a lot in her. And so she pushed her, you know, just to keep going. And so those kind of things, you know, I didn't actually have the experience of being in this school, but I got firsthand, like, taught from her. So it's kind of the same thing. She taught me everything Marcia taught her.
She taught us in methods and ways that we could then impart to the next generation.
Yeah, my daughter's 12, and like she even can bathe and blow dry and stuff a little bit now. So that'll be another generation.
Absolutely.
Down.
Just wiping it away. And we have a danger zone there, and I want to point it out to you.
Who's my little bag?
I worked for them. That's where I worked. Washing wagon?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's where I got my my trailer from.
She wanted to learn to groom so badly, and she would come to my house from Huntington Beach because I lived in Garden Grove, and she would sit on my steps to wait for me to get ready to go to work.
You told me to be there by 7 o'clock.
I know.
I was there every day for 10
sitting
months.
on my porch, no matter what the weather.
So I want to thank you, Tammy, for coming today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, this is such a great honor to be able to honor somebody that means so much to us.
Yes.
So you have a story you'd like to share?
I do.
Written up.
Yeah.
So Tammy Colbert, we're very, very glad to have you. And
Thank
have
you
share
very
your
much.
Story.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
As you said, my name is Tammy Colbert. My story starts with faith. Fate being that I walked into a little grooming shop in Mountain Valley. The walk into that shop changed my life. I didn't grow up with dogs, and I was curious as to what was going on in that little shop. Marcia Hill was sitting there grooming a little poodle at her grooming table, and she looks over and says, "Can I help you?" I said I was curious to see what this was all about. We talked for a bit, and finally she said, "Come in on a Saturday and see." I was excited for Saturday to come. She gave me a brush and a little dog to brush out. She instructed me from across the shop. I did as I was told. She saw something in me, and Marcia said I was a natural. I also apprenticed some evenings, sitting behind her, matching her movements with her scissors with my own. Her handling is excellent. I wanted to be as good as her. Soon after graduating, I tried my hand at grooming contests. I thought that would be another way to hone my skills and to be the best I could be. I won over $100,000 in prize monies over that time. The highlight win was when I won $20,000 for grooming just one dog. She taught me that I'm not just a dog groomer. I'm a professional dog groomer. I can say that with pride because of that faithful walk into Marcia Hill's shop. I love you, Mom. But yeah, she did a lot for me, and she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and then nobody told me I could do. And now I groom dogs, and I love it. I love it.
And the next phase of your life, you are
I'm
giving
going
that
to be
back.
a teacher, and I'm going to teach other people how to do this, and hopefully they'll carry on what she gave me. And I really do love her.
They had been advertising for a new teacher for the dog grooming class. Because I had been really involved with the Orange County Groomers Association, and I had become a master groomer, and I had my own business and all, someone suggested, and I'll never know who it was, that why don't you ask Marcia to come and take the school over? And my shop was doing fine. I've been there 12 years. I don't regret that I pulled out and went to start teaching, and it was in 1984, and I was 48 years old. Okay, I'm going to do this. I did. But I had to go in and restructure the whole curriculum. There had never been any video or anything for anyone to learn by. And so, because I like gadgets and things, I think it was one of the big manufacturing companies or wholesalers, not PetSmart or anything, they bought me a big 5-pound RCA video camera to help me help them.
Wow.
And I started self-filming and making films on how to groom dogs. And you'll see it in the book. That's what was in the cabinet.
It's so amazing to me that now what we see in social media, everybody can get behind a camera and become their own star. But here you were so many years ago with this original idea before its time, and now this idea is happening every day in groomers' lives.
Think about that, because sometimes I say, you really missed it because you could have done so much more. But people weren't even paying attention.
They weren't ready.
They weren't ready, and neither was society ready. We were still looking at just old movies and stuff. No one thought of videotaping. No cameras had video on it unless you bought that big $1,500 camera.
Right.
So I took it everywhere.
My name is Patricia Johnson, and I met Marcia in 1978. I was a young mother with 2 very small children. They were 4 and 2 years old. And I had a little puppy that I had purchased at a pet store. And the puppy was brown, a cute little brown fluffy thing. And I knew nothing about dogs except maybe give it a bath. And I didn't know how to really thoroughly brush the dog out, so I bathed it, and it grew up to be a very light-colored, off-white, matted mess. So I took my dog, I couldn't drive. I told my mom I needed to take the dog to the vet. And so we took it to the vet. For $10, they would groom it. So when I came back to pick it up, it was shaved like a rat. It looked horrible. And I said, I could do better than this. if I had someone to teach me what to do, because I didn't know. So I called around through the Yellow Pages at that time and found someone to talk to me about it. And Marcia was the only one that would talk to me. Everybody else had hung up. No, no, no. And so she had me come into her shop, and she agreed to teach me to bathe dogs for $1 a dog. And she allowed me to bring my children. Because she had sort of a shop in the front and there was a home in the back. So on the days that my mom couldn't keep the kids, then I had the kids there playing with whatever. And Marcia had this shop, and I was taught to bathe dogs over and over and over and over again until I got it right. My first Saturday that I worked, I made $25, and I was so excited. I was thrilled. I bathed in front of a big window looking out onto Western Boulevard, I guess,
And that
Avenue.
was Marcia Hill's Poodle Grooming.
Yes.
Was the name of the business.
And I was just absolutely in love with that career. I'm very fortunate because I met someone who was very thorough in her teaching and handling of pets, which was my introduction to grooming, which has made me a very, very excellent groomer.
Wow.
I'm a certified master groomer with the National Dog Groomers Association. I was selected as one of the top 30 groomers in the country. I won first place in Italy. I've done a lot of competing, but I concentrate on mobile grooming for the last, since 1997.
A little closer. Can you hear me now? Now I feel like I need to whisper. Okay. All right, I'll restate what I was saying. I do have a video to show you, just to give some of you an experience of what going out on a mobile grooming van might be like. I hadn't been out on one myself, but I made a big effort to go out on a mobile grooming van 7 weekends in a row. I found out, after all said and done, most what happens in mobile grooming is a dog gets groomed, or 2 dogs get groomed, or a cat gets groomed, or you hit your shin while getting in it. It has a different application altogether than what we do in our storefronts. What I've planned to do is give you a little bit of a history of grooming. You know, all of us groom dogs and we don't even understand what the term might mean. So I looked in Webster's dictionary and found out that the word groom in the 14th century meant that it was a manservant. But I see a lot of ladies out there doing the work nowadays, and it's not a manservant at all. After the 14th century and going into the 1800s, it began to be a person who took care, fed, and exercised and stabled horses. A little later on, then they started saying that it included dogs and taking care of the dogs. But let me help you understand one thing. All of this service was performed in the courtyard of the kings and the queens and the people of note, the aristocracy of the various countries. Now, we're working for everybody out here, and it seems as most people can't even afford what they're asking us to do.
My name is Annette, and I retired from Texaco after 34 years. And when I retired, I was so young, they said, "Don't you want to learn something new? We'll send you to school." So I thought, well, I've always been sensible. I want to do something fun. So I decided I wanted to be a dog groomer. But there was nowhere to learn. So finally, I found La Puente High School in Marcia. And I absolutely loved it. Except I was so scared the first time I put a clipper in my hand. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to kill this little dog. But the first time Marcia talked about mobile dog grooming, the little light bulb went on. I said, this is for me. And I groomed as a mobile dog groomer until last year.
And how many years?
Oh gosh, probably about 13 years. And then I sold my mobile unit. So now I do it from in my garage. I just go get the little dogs and bring them to my house and deliver them. Works out fine.
So you're still grooming?
I'm still grooming. And I don't want to work that hard because I have other income. So it works out well. Love it. I'll never quit.
What do you take with you from those years with Marcia? What is carried with you all these years?
Danger, danger. So when I lived in
That's true.
Oh, it is.
It is true. It is true.
Tell us why you say that, Marcia. Tell us why she's your guardian angel.
She's my guardian angel because she was one of my students, and she was learning to groom dogs, and she liked it and stuff, but she didn't ever aspire to really go into business at the time. But then my assistant, Jesse Lynham, passed away suddenly. And I had no assistant for the school and the work that he did as a classified person.
She convinced me to go look and see if I could get the position.
Right, and I told her, she offered. She came in, she says, well, I could do what Jesse's doing. I said, you probably could do it better. And she went and she applied, and they actually hired her. I talked Mr. Stephen Klein into hiring her to be my assistant. Well, she didn't just assist with the record keeping and the filing. She got everything straightened out. It took her weeks, but she got everything straightened out. But she adored me, and I adored her. And I was traveling 60 miles one way, and we had an evening class as well as a day class. So when the winters came and the weather was bad, the fog was bad, I was tired, all kinds of things. She didn't live very far from the school, and she would have me come to her house, and she would fix me food and put me in the spare room in a nice comfortable bed.
Aww.
So I didn't have to travel all the way back to Moreno Valley and then get back to school the next day. And so she would make potato soup. And she had cats and dogs of her own and stuff. And we just formed a relationship. But she was always looking after me. And I'm an only child. I have no sisters or cousins or hardly anything. And when people like that in your life, you don't forget. So I'm so thankful that she was able to get here today. And we had fun, too. We went down to Mexico. We went to
You know, I mean, your education gave me the ability to actually be artistic, you know.
If you're honest and you're a good groomer, people remember you. That's what I think. They always remember you. Because, like, you know, if you do something bad, you know, people say, don't go to the shop, you know. If you do a good job, everybody remember you. Yeah.
That's because dogs are like their family.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you know, so if you take the kid to the nursery and somebody hits it or beats it up, they're not going to go back. Well, that dog is the same as a child.
Yeah. When I graduated, I did leave with a sense of pride. I ran a mobile dog grooming from 1990 to 2001, almost 12 years. I ended up having 4 vans. It's given me the confidence to try so many things. And now I do consultations over the internet for people with animals, you know, because I've learned over the years that I have a gift of communicating with them. And when I'm listening to all the stories in here today, every one of us have that intuitive gift. And I don't think we talked about it back then. It was kind of like, you're good with that, you know, difficult dogs. You're good with the cats. But as I've studied this and studied working with so many people and animals, there is a common thread amongst certain people. And I think that's why all these years we're sitting here telling these stories. And you taught us that. You taught us to connect with that. And, you know, not just groom a dog, but connect with the animal. And I have had a 30-year career. From that little La Puente, driving down Hacienda, and there she was. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to do it, and I did it.
And she was so cute. What? Wasn't your hair curly?
Oh, probably. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. I remember a curly redhead or something like that.
Well, I guess it was 9 years old?
Probably 9.
9 years old.
Cheryl was younger. She did the bookwork.
Okay. 9 years old. I loved doggy so much, and I loved my mom's new profession as a single mom, that I knew that's what I wanted to do. And my sister and brother wanted to go to college, and I said, nope, I don't like school enough to go to college. I have a profession right here, and they're still bugging me about it at 61 years old. Well, you just remained a dog groomer. And I go, it was the most rewarding thing I could do in my whole life. And I said, there's people with PhDs that do a career change, and they pick what I picked from the get-go, and they love it. And so I said, so, you know, just leave me alone. I said, I'm fulfilled and I'm happy. Anyway, 9 years old to 59, almost, I groomed dogs and cats and loved every minute of it. Every minute.
Yeah, how that road does some stuff up there, I had to go to that house back in the corner. And if I go too far, I don't know how I'll get out. And I just washed the truck. Just back. I don't know about back and back.
Come on now, I gotta be a good camera person. Just do your thing.
See what that road does? Now you really want me to go down there? Huh? I can't turn around and leave right in this woman's house.
Well, then you back up and come out.
Well, honey, there's only one place you could be going when you're going here is to her house. That's going to look pretty strange.
If you pursue this and you're diligent about it and you don't let them fool around with you, unless the dog is absolutely untrained or vicious, you should be able to accomplish these things and still have a friend. You still got a friend?
1, 2, 3.
Cheese!
All right, got it.
Yay! Thank you guys all so much.